Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Monday, February 13th. And we've been moving this program around a little bit, trying to figure out what is the best time of the week to show it. We have been doing it on Friday. Now we're going to try it on Monday for a few weeks and see if there's nothing else that it gives us a chance to tell what's going on with the city council and their meetings that will be coming up and other events in the community. Before I start on that, I'd just like to again warn, I use the word that, everyone in town, that we continue to have an inordinate amount of crime occurring to us on technology. And the Batavia Police Department, in my opinion, does a phenomenally good job in trying to keep their hands on this thing. But it seems like every day I'm hearing somebody's sorry story about having their credit card number stolen, or somebody got online and figured out their passcodes to various businesses. There's just all kinds of stuff going down. So please be very, very careful, and specifically don't give your credit card numbers or your passcodes away to anybody that calls you on the phone and says they're from the IRS or whatever have you. Tell them you'll call them back, and then before you do that, check the numbers out. There's just a lot of strange things happening, and it's very problematic. And I think Batavia is targeted because we are found to be a community of somewhat affluent, that has affluence in it, and we are a nice town, and most people have some money in the bank, and so there we become the ready target for people in other parts of the world, literally, who want to come into Batavia because they know a lot of our folks have some assets. So again, please be cautious in what you do. This coming week, we've got a couple of new businesses that are kind of almost on the verge of opening their doors. This past week we had the Casey's new convenience store, which is on Main Street, just to the west of Randall Road on the south side of the street. Probably best described as just to the east of Holy Cross Church and the car wash, and down the hill from the Jewel. And they opened up what appeared to be some pretty intense activity, and I guess what they're famous for is their pizza and their donuts, and they do sell gas there, but it doesn't look like that's the main thing that most people are going in there for. They're going in for the convenience store items. So if you haven't been there yet, check it out. They have many things that are their own brands, so it's Casey's potato chips and all this other nice stuff. So please be, and they make some salads, and they do a lot of different preparation stuff for people to eat. So please keep that one in mind. And another one that just opened is Chicken Salad Chick, right to the on the northeast corner of McKee Street and Randall Road, just behind the BP gas station out there. And they've really had a booming business, and it's all chicken salad, and I believe they also offer an egg salad and a turkey salad. And so they are another place that has had a number of people who go once tell me they're going back second, third times. And the staff is kind of locally owned. They identify people that come in that are people that work with or did work with me at the city, and so it's a place of a locally owned business where it's very friendly and the food is rated as very good. And so another one that probably will be opening in the very, very near future is the Culvers restaurant, which is kind of at the north end of the Menards parking lot along Randall Road. And it's, I think something that a lot of people in town tell me they really are looking forward to, because one thing Culvers does is they offer soups and salads. And many of the other fast food restaurants don't offer that, but this one does. And so I would encourage you to go. I guess if you go and you need a place to park, they've built the store in the north end of the Douglas Flooring parking lot out there, and I guess you can park on most of the parking spaces that surround the area out there if you're looking for a parking space. But that's a conversation I'm sure is still yet to come. So we've really got a lot of things going on. I wanted to share with you that the city council is right now involved in some pretty heavy-duty discussions. One of the things we're trying to do is, thanks to the sponsorship of now former Congressman Underwood. She's no longer our congressman in Batavia. Under the reapportionment, she was positioned south of us, down in the South Aurora and Joliet area, in Will County is, I guess, now her territory. And we have back Congressman Bill Foster, who was a former Fermi guy who lived in Batavia and has been very friendly and supportive of Batavia. So I'm pleased that if we couldn't have Underwood, we have Foster, and Foster is looking out for us, and his staff calls and asks me questions and tries to be in communication and make sure they're voting the right ways in support of Batavia. But Congressman Underwood, when she was in office, got what appears to be a $3 million federal appropriation for Batavia to buy and open up a food pantry and a clothes closet in a building that will be capable of dealing with it. As you all know, we have an interfaith food pantry and clothes closet, which is very, very ably run, but they've been dealing in very, very tight quarters in a building right to the west of our water treatment plant down on South Shumway Avenue, and it really needed to be addressed. And so we will be moving them out to a larger facility. I'm reluctant to name any locations, though, because we really haven't made a final decision about it, but the city council will be discussing that in the next few weeks as they go forward. And you can watch the Batavia City Council meetings on BATV, and a number of people do. And so if you really want to know what's happening, that's where I would tell you to keep your eyes on. And another thing that we are working on is that rebuilding the intersection at Prairie and Wilson. We got some federal money to help us pay for that, and we're going to have a gate down on two legs of that intersection for railroad crossings, if they don't get many, but maybe once a day. And then there's going to be kind of a repaving and resurfacing of all four lanes there, so there'll be a traffic signal now at Prairie and Wilson. This may still be next year sometime by the time we get all this put together, but that is in the works. So we do have some stuff happening in Batavia, and we will be watching it as things move forward. Certainly, we, as you probably remember, we did some significant annexations out on Main Street at the Mooseheart property, just to the south and to the west of the fire station. And I know we have had some conversations with people who are nosing around wanting to talk about, most of that is planned for a senior living community, so we will probably have that there. And the one thing that I will make mention of is that Batavia now has 3 projects that are well underway that are going to add a number of houses to our community. We have the Batavia Commons out at Kirk Road and Wind Energy. It's a series of townhouses, and when they're all built out, there's 242 new townhouses there at that location. And then they are all attached, and so that will be coming. We've just issued the last building permits for the last units in the 242 unit complex, so there will be 242 out there before long. Then over on the west side we have the Landing Senior Living Community, which has now been built and is being occupied, and I believe there's 144 units available in that particular property. And then the other one we've got now in full force as far as designing its roads and putting them in, and sewer and water and everything else, is the Winding Creek subdivision, which is on McKee Street, just to the west of the Kohl's store. And that will have 163 single-family home units in it, some 1-story and some 2-story. And I guess you can go out and talk to the folks in the sales office out there, and they'll tell you all the details of the single-story house and the 2-story houses and what modifications you can make to them and everything else. I've talked to several realtors in the area recently who tell me they've got clients that either have signed contracts to build a house out there or are seriously thinking about it. So I think you're going to see quite a bit of activity out there in the very, very near future. And when you add up the numbers of units or houses that will be between Batavia Commons, the Landing, and the Winding Creek, that will add 549 new living units to the community of Batavia. And so we are a growing town, and of course the retailers like to see the new numbers coming in because that means there's more customers in the community to come out and shop and buy stuff. So we've got a lot going on here. The staff is really working, and as you also know, we've got some renovations, remodeling taking place at the City Hall building, which will be probably completed later this year. But we've got a lot of stuff a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, and as a result, we aren't shy of finding things to do. So I think that's my report for this week. I look forward to talking to you. I hope you all have a good week this week, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.